Welcome into the Pats Nation. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe's with us in the booth. You are watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, anywhere you podcast, you're going to catch us. And when you're on YouTube, make sure you check out our short reels. Give us that thumbs up. Give us subscribe. Give us the like. That's what we're looking for. Give us a comment. We'll read it on the show. And make sure you're getting in touch with us in our heated hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. It's a message line. I know we haven't played one in a while. I get it. Jen, relax. We're getting your messages. Okay. But there's so many of them are the same that we're just putting it into a segment. So, you are being heard. But you can email us too in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. We got a busy one today in QB breakdown. Hey, Maye versus Daniels. They had joint practices. They squared off, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And in Weekly Rewind, we want to talk about that joint practice with Washington. Want to talk about some of that scrimmage and go back even a week and discuss some of the details there. And in Pat's preview, we're going to talk about this preseason game. Now, we're recording on Thursday, so the game hasn't happened yet. But I want to talk, Mark brought this up on Corso and Catone. And Mark, I want to talk a little bit about these preseason games versus these joint practices and what should we really be tuning into. So stick around for that. Hi, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
How you feeling this morning, this fine Sunday morning, gentlemen?
I can't listen. It's football season. We got to feel good. We got a few, another month maybe, and it's not for real.
It's not for real.
Show the fans how to start it up because we want them to be here with our pregame show.
Absolutely, and that will be 8 a.m. Eastern every Sunday morning, and we will be the first pregame show for the Patriots, and this is the real one. This is the one you want to listen to.
Yeah.
We can start talking about our Sunday sniffs and everybody else, like that. So, but first, let's talk a little bit of Maye versus Daniels. Guys, you want to do that? You want to do it in QB breakdown?
Let's do it.
Okay, now.
Hit it, boys.
Rookie from Maryland by way of Eastern Michigan.
Give me a present, Christmas present for me from Maryland. Come on.
14 of 22 this season.
Come on.
He's missed 4 of his last 7 field goal tries.
56.
He will have an opportunity from straight on 56
yards
away from victory for the Patriots. Cardona over the football. Berringer's right knee is down. He shows Cardona his right hand. Ryland waits, leaning forward in the stance. The snap, the spot, the kick clears the line. Sailing to the uprights. The kid is good! The kid did it! With 2 seconds to go, Ryland has given the Patriots a 26-23 lead here in Denver. And he's mobbed by his teammates on the far side.
They should have left him on the field. Not let him get on the plane for making
that. Of course, was Bob Sosi and Scott Zolak with the call in 2023, the game winner on Christmas Eve that ruined our Christmas. Okay, when the Patriots won that game,
That
and
was
it took
the
them
difference between 1 and 3, right?
That was the difference between picking 2 and 3.
2 and 3,
Yeah.
and 2 would have gotten you Daniels because 1 was Caleb Williams.
So you see,
Let
Joe.
me ask you guys this. Didn't that sound nice? Like listening to us win in a fashion like that? Are we
No.
going to get ready for that?
No.
Well, no. Joe's right in a sense,
Yeah,
Chris.
he
I
is
mean,
right,
granted,
You're a real glasses half full kind of guy, aren't you? Huh?
No. When I started hearing that, I just said, oh, wow, this could be a season that you're going to start hearing that again. Because when's the last time you heard one of those types of games about the Patriots?
Well,
That's-
so Mark.
you're right, Joe, but that's not why he played it.
No, I know. I just
Okay,
get excited.
guys. So no, you should get excited. It's good. It's good. You're thinking along those lines. You're not a miserable cynic like me. So
And that old his buddy, which I'm shocked, Joe. We've made it about 3 weeks without him making reference to who the coach was during that
Yeah.
game, because that's all he does. He makes reference.
the
every-
greatest of all time.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Go Heels. Anyway, so would you go back? It's okay. Here we are now.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels, and that, of course, played that because, like Mark said, we would have picked Jaden Daniels over Drake Maye. We picked who was left. You regret it?
No, I don't. Because I told you that I thought Maye had a lot of upside at the time. Remember that going into that draft? I said, Chris, I'm okay taking him because I think he's got a lot of upside. He's a kid. And you just didn't like what you saw on tape. You were a little nervous because you said, Mark, I don't know about this kid.
He creates his own pressure. He doesn't trust his pocket. His reads, not sound. I mean, if it's not on the move, all these things. Yeah. Footwork, his back foot, all that.
And Jaden Daniels is like 3.5, 4 years older than him, by the way. 3 years older than him.
That's the one thing people need to talk about when they mention this too, is, you got a lot of miles on Drake Maye, does Jaden Daniels. I mean, he played a lot more football with a lot. And by the way, I'll just say this too. Okay. McLaurin, Neighbors, right? And who the hell was the other LSU wideout?
When he was with LSU, Chris, he had Neighbors.
I mean, he has McLaurin now.
Thomas Jr.,
right?
Neighbors. He had Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.
Right.
And he had the tight end who just got drafted, Mason Thomas Jr. Thomas.
So he had bona fide number one guys. I mean, McLaurin's a number one. Neighbors is for sure a number one.
He had a bona fide tight end.
Brian Thomas Jr., bona fide number one.
Yeah.
Or any of which we'd be killed to get, which, by the way, I don't understand why the Washington Redskins, whatever they're called, are leaving town without a trade being done. How the hell that little rat weasel Elliott Wilson not sitting on the field with Peters in his ear all day long saying, what do you need from McLaurin? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? They should not be leaving town without that guy as a New England Patriot. Let me just say that. And they will. And they're going to because they're cheap. Anyway.
You have so many issues.
So yeah,
no,
I mean
he's not calm like me, Joe.
But Mark, if you did, but you'd be missing moments. Are we missing moments like this?
Heads towards the end zone. It is
Nobody knows what that is.
I'll tell you.
Oh, that's the Hail Mary.
You're missing moments like that with the Patriots. That was Jaden Daniels against the Chicago Bears. And the game-winning Hail Mary. Those guys lost their ever-loving minds.
They lost their minds. Those guys lost their minds.
But
anyways, Chris.
Okay, you're missing moments like that or what?
Yeah. Okay. So it was Daniels against Maye. Okay. That's the point. Yeah. Okay. Daniels, Maye. First time we've seen the two of them go up against each other. Granted, it was in a joint practice, but still, they went up against each other. So let's get into it, Chris. Let's talk about what we saw. Come on.
Enough of that happy horse shit. Let's get into it.
No, I think that was good to play. It set the stage for this conversation.
So what are we missing? Are we missing? Are we going to miss these moments? Are we going to get these moments from Drake Maye? Ultimately, looking at the situation, yes, Daniels has had a lot more to work with in his career. He's played a lot more football. I still question Daniels' frame a bit. I still question whether or not his legs are going to get him hurt and get him his time playing shortened.
Eventually, yeah, maybe.
But looking at what they did. Now, we talked about the scrimmage, okay? Yesterday in Corso and Catone, when they had that scrimmage, Drake Maye didn't look so good, did he? It didn't look like he had as much command.
Didn't look, that
they had
Friday
6
night,
drives.
That Friday night, he did not look good.
No, they had 6 drives. Three of those 6 ended up in turnovers. Two interceptions, which weren't very good. One of them was a pick 6, Yeah. But then they get into joint practice and he turns.
Well, it would have been
a
pick 6, right? It was at the end of the joint. Yeah, it would have been, right? Yeah, it would have been.
So, what are you making of? Let's just talk about Drake Maye. What do you?
So So what are we talking about? Are we
Well,
talking
I mean,
about
what do you
joint
see? You saw the scrimmage.
or-
You see what happened there. Now you're looking at the joint practice. Both. I mean, overall.
Overall, I think he understands. I think he understands the premise of what McDaniels wants and what he needs to happen, Chris. I think he understands where the ball has to go in this offense, and the whole idea of the fact that you got to get rid of the ball quickly. You got to make a quick decision. Like Brady used to say, the ball's no good if it's in my hands. And you got to get the ball out, right? And I think Maye understands that, Chris. And in the joint practice, Chris, Maye finished the day with three touchdowns. He had a 67% completion rate. Daniels, no touchdowns, none. And he had a 63% completion rate. And according to everybody who was at the joint practice against the Commanders, Chris, said that the Patriots offense was running in a state of flow that they haven't seen since Brady. So that's probably a stretch. Don't get me wrong. However, it does tell you that Maye understands the offense and gets it and knows how to run it.
Yeah, no, listen, he looked good. He looked good in the joint practice. He did. He bounced back. Like we said, he was 15 to 21. 4 of those 6 were drops, and perfectly placed balls too. I think Henderson had 1. Hollins had 2. I think Pop Douglas dropped the ball too.
Henderson's Chris was in the end zone too, right in his hands.
Right,
He dropped
it was right in the breadbasket. I mean, so what I like that I'm seeing, I was nervous after that scrimmage a little bit, because what I was concerned about was that he did the thing that he was doing with the checkdowns. When he's throwing those short passes, it's like he's throwing it about 800 miles an hour and bouncing it off guys. Mm-hmm. He can't seem to get himself under control to get the touch enough to hit those little checkdowns, to get those touch passes that are needed so those guys can feel the ball and then go. And it was bouncing off pads and things like that. It seems that he's corrected that. Now, I don't know if McDaniels is helping that in play calling, in how what he's putting in his bucket and so on. But I will say this: his command of the offense is you could see it. It's just so much better this year. He's getting to the line. There's not a lot of, nobody's talking about this, but there's a lot of pre-snap penalties. There's not his checks are good. He's getting those check with me. When he goes to the helmet and we go to the second. Say that. Yeah. Yep. You go to the second play that was called in the huddle. And he's often right. And in the joint practice, he was right more than he was wrong. Now he's not playing a hugely stellar defense on the Washington side, but hey, this is a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year. Okay. It was a hell of a lot different than a year ago against Philly in joint practices.
Which tells you, Chris, he has taken a step forward because he's now understanding defense, right? He's understanding defenses. He's understanding what he's seeing on the other side of the ball. And one of the big parts of McDaniels' offense is you're going to be able to understand what's in front of you and what you're seeing so you can check down. Also, the receivers, Chris, have to be in tune with him because they also have to look, because a lot of what the receivers do, Chris, the receivers are reading things too and changing based on what they're seeing.
It's an influx offense. It's always there's always a read.
Yeah.
And this is why you're seeing guys. You always saw it with Brady. How many guys were catching passes? He 8 guys caught passes today. 9 guys caught passes today. And that's what it is. And you heard Kendrick Bourne last week talk about everybody's going to get a little love in the room. Everybody brings a skill set to the table. You get 2-3 balls thrown at you a game. And it's a lot of high percentage stuff. There are going to be guys coming across the field open. Crossers, in cuts. A lot of that stuff's happening, and he's picking it up. He's seeing it. He's delivering the ball on time and accurately.
In a joint practice, there was one play that he slides right, Chris, because he feels the pressure coming. But in sliding, he allows Pop Douglas the time as a crosser to get free, and he hits him right in stride, Chris. That was one of his better reads in plays of that joint practice because he understood I got to slide, get buy myself some time and allow my receiver time to run free, and Douglas does, and he knows where he is supposed to be, and he hits him. And Douglas, Chris, is having a fabulous camp. Fabulous camp, to his credit.
He's been the best receiver so far in camp.
Yeah.
But I think I'm with Mark. I agree with Mark. I wouldn't change it at this point. Right now, is Daniels the better quarterback? Yeah.
Sure he is.
Of course he is.
Sure
You can say that. But I don't know about you two, but I wouldn't change it at this stage.
Chris,
so we'll see.
Also, after Friday's scrimmage against themselves, I'm sure McDaniels took him in and looked at film with him and went through and said, hey, here's what you did. And I'm sure he sat with him and they studied and I'm sure he studied what he did wrong because the whole offense, not just Maye, the entire offense, Chris, at the joint practice did much better than they showed last Friday night.
Right. And so between the two of them, I thought Drake Maye had the much better day than Daniels did. And they say, well, McLaurin wasn't there and he's not throwing anybody. I don't want to hear that excuse because who the hell is Maye throwing to? Diggs pretty much didn't take part much. And, so who the hell, why? Because Maye's throwing to somebody?
Yeah.
Then what you're telling me then is Daniels isn't much without McLaurin or a Neighbors or a Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make that argument too, right?
Agree. No, that's a good point.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see how he progresses throughout camp and as we get into the season. But QB Breakdown was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field, Saturdays, 12 Eastern. Hey, we got everything. Yankees, Red Sox, Catone's Comets, talk B's and C's. Mark's going to tell us next week how he hurt his leg. This ought to be, he teased it yesterday. So this should be a very interesting thing. So make sure you tune into that. But we come back, going to go back in the week and weekly rewind. No flipping.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more
Corso and Catone. Saturdays at noon.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, we got to talk about the rest of the offense, the rest of the defense, and the week that was. We're going to do it in Weekly Rewind, and we're going to do it right now. Going back through the week, about a Weekly Rewind.
It's been the lightest training camp that I have ever covered in terms of work.
It just pisses you off.
Some of the decisions that they've made, veteran time off. Look, he's certainly entitled to it. Mike Vrabel's way smarter than I am. I'm just telling you that in my history of covering the NFL over 20 years, this is the lightest training camp that I've ever covered. Paul Kaharski down in Nashville has his own site. And he's covered the Titans for years. And he said that Vrabel did the exact same thing when he was in Tennessee. And then I was like, well, let me look at how Vrabel's team started the season. And, hey, if they started great, he's on to something. That was not the case. Vrabel lost his last 3 season openers as head coach of the Titans, and he lost 4 of the 6 when he was there.
That, of course, was Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal talking about the tone of this camp, Mark. Let's start there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna, I yield the mic to you.
Greg, let me ask you a question. What does that mean? What do they call it?
Lightest,
lightest camps. What does that mean?
What
does that mean? Easy, Greg. What does that mean? Why? What makes it light? What are they not doing in your 20 years? Because you put the pads on. Did you play? He must have played. Maybe he put the pad. He didn't play. Listen, did he put the what is he doing? What are they doing that makes it one of the lightest camps you've seen in 20 years? Why? Because you were all praising. They were kissing his feet. They were licking his hands after that win against Cincinnati. Bedard went on and said, well, he ran a tough camp and he worked them. And Yeah, and you won, what 2 more games the rest of the season? Because I don't count Buffalo as a win. You won 2 more games the rest of the That camp really worked, Greg. What a hell of a job Gerard Mayo did in that camp. He was a bozo. Now, listen. And then you're quoting a guy from Tennessee. You don't even know if he's got a bone to pick with Vrabel. You don't know what his relationship was with Vrabel. He might have an axe to grind. So, of course, he's going to say stuff about him. So, I don't want to hear that BS either. Let's listen.
I don't know how you can.
All I know is he jumped in the pile, came out with a bloody cheek, and he was ready to roll. That's all I know.
That's what we're trying to build, I think. And it starts with the coach, starts with the head coach, the intensity, bringing it every day. Taking no crap, when we're out there on the field. But also it comes at a time where with our guys offensively, and getting over there and getting some tussles and kind of having some penalties and extra after the whistle can get us in trouble. But for mentality, I like it. I think that's what you want. I mean, I almost got in there, but I think maybe another day, maybe. So we'll see.
He's right there with us, man. I think that player comes out in him a little bit too. But you got to love a coach that loves to compete, has those competitive juices just like us.
Man, that shows a lot, man, about our coach, man.
Pop Douglas.
He'll do anything for us, and that's love right there.
He got cut, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, Coach, what's wrong with you, man? He said, hey, you should see the other guy. So, I laughed at that for sure.
It was, of course, Maye, Henry, and Pop Douglas talking about Vrabel and what Mark's alluding to, that he got there was a fight during joint.
And I like Greg Bedard. I think he's very knowledgeable. He's one of the smartest guys that covers the team, obviously. But that comment kind of pissed me off.
Well, look, the thing about it, Mark, is you can't. You're building a bridge.
Yeah.
The problem I have with that take is you're building a bridge from the camp tone of camp, the we calls it a soft camp or a light camp or whatever, to the first win of the season, the opener. As there's a lot of crap in between there, that you could look to. You injury. I mean, we're not told. We don't know who was hurt down there. We don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know that led to. And let me ask you something. How about other years? Let's talk about camps like Belichick's camp, that he had tough camps or whatever, and they lost the opener too. So,
we would traditionally get off the slow starts, if you remember.
Right. Intentionally, almost, it seemed.
Almost.
So yeah, they just look at that as an extension of camp, the first 4 weeks. But the point is, yeah, it's a bit of a leap. But the point he makes a little bit, and I want to get off this because we got to get moving.
Yeah.
I don't think he's soft. I think he's constrained with some of the things. I think he's got a lot of the guys he brought in with veterans. There's a lot of veteran guys, Morgan Moses, guys like this, Milton Williams, guys that he brings in that are kind of a little more Landry, that you got to kind of watch. And your depth is nothing. You have no depth. So, if he's sitting there saying, yeah, I'm going to get the veterans more rest, I'm not going to get him involved as much. I don't know that I can blame him for that, Mark.
No,
really don't.
I don't blame him for that. And Chris, listen, the other piece of this is, like you said, you're talking about depth. Well, they don't have any, but also, Bedard makes is looking at this, and the whole league is like this now, Chris. He's criticizing Vrabel, and my 20 years, I never saw a camp this light, but that's how this is set up now, Chris. That's what the league has done. In other words, you can only practice so many days with pads. Then you're going to have so much time off. And then, the rest of the whole league is gotten like this, Chris. It's a
Mark, did this
league.
Yeah, okay. But to push back a little, did this – I want to play it. We don't have to play it all, but did this take bother you? When when they were turning the ball over in that scrimmage and they looked the way they did, the time to come out and basically put these guys on the carpet. Mm-hmm. And this is what he says.
Kind of sloppy, a couple of interceptions. Reminder, put the ball on the ground. Just curious.
Yeah, the turnovers. I thought
this is the time to say, you can't have that. We can't have
show them that. The turnovers are certainly going to get us beat. We had some passes that should have been caught. We had some.
Almost like he's tentatively. I got to criticize.
I would say decisions, right? I think, and hopefully, when we ask a receiver, run a play like that if it's not there, there's other ways to get out of the play, and you could continue to run, it's out of the pocket, he can throw it away. So those are great things to teach on in those specific instances. And Ramondre, when make a great cut and you break through. Know that every team in the league is, and hopefully ours is one of those teams that, the guys coming to the ball and they're.
So yeah, listen. My point is to you, the tone of that. Like, does the tone of that bother you a little bit? Like, I mean, you got a guy that's been putting the ball on the ground for 2 years straight in Ramondre Stevenson. Now, unless he's sitting there saying, I don't care about this guy, because Trevion Henderson's going to be our guy and Gibson. Like, yeah. But he's still running with the one. So, I mean, shouldn't there be more irritation?
Yeah, I guess you'd like to see a little bit more irritation, but here's my take on that too. Okay, you don't know what was said behind closed doors, what was said in the film room after the fact, after that scrimmage, because hey, they looked like a different team in that joint practice than they did in that Friday night scrimmage, Chris. So whatever he did and whatever strategy he used coming out of that worked because the offense looked like a machine, a well-oiled machine ready for opening day.
You just love Vrabel like I love Belichick. You're over there,
No, listen,
you're pulling your pants down for Mike Vrabel now.
Oh, shut up. My other thing is, he's also taking the opposite. Here's what I'm going to say to you. I don't think that we quite truly realize, Chris, what a clown show that locker room was last year.
Oh, no, yeah.
How much of a lack of
I saw that walkthrough.
How much of a lack of respect I think a lot of those players, I know the media around here, everybody's still playing for Gerard and they respect him. I don't know about that. And we talked about that during the year, Chris. He was calling guys out all year.
Mark, I watched that walkthrough in Arizona.
But he was making disparaging comments about guys' effort right from the get-go, Chris, in training camp. And I think Vrabel has taken the strategy of, yes, I'm going to call guys out. I'm going to pull them aside. I'm going to do it quietly. I'm going to do it in the locker room. I'm going to do it in the film room. It's not going to be in front of the media because we're going to keep those kind of things in-house because that's where they belong. Because if you remember correctly, Chris, Belichick would never – everything Belichick did was in-house.
Yeah, he never called somebody out.
Not publicly. He would ream them out in a film room and make them look like complete morons in a film room.
No, not in the media. Yeah, never in the media. He did it to Brady.
So I think Vrabel, Chris, I don't have a problem with that comment. I know you do. But I'm okay.
I just want to get you going. I don't really.
I'm okay. And I'm listening to you. I'm a Belichick guy. I'm a Vrabel.
I don't have a problem with it because I think the difference between him and Mayo is Vrabel knows who he is. I'm proving myself to you guys. My credentials are there. Let's go. So, but moving on, I want to talk about Campbell a little bit. I want to finish up with the offense. We'll go to break, come back and talk about some defense. And I want to finish with Campbell. Okay. So up and down, right? To say the least. I mean, he had a tough week, the week of in stadium scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage, a real tough time. He had a tough time with those outside inside moves. Okay. But then it seemed that he cleaned it up. And a lot of talk was about, the arm length. Dietrich Wise, who was going against him in the in joints, said
no one has, humbly speaking, no one has my length, but he has really good hands.
What about his arms?
Look, I face tackles who have short arms before long arms. It's not about the size of the tackle, about the heart. So he has that.
Yeah. So look, whatever he was doing, he was having issues with, he cleaned it up at least for that day.
And Wise said he has good hands, Chris.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference for a left tackle? In your opinion?
His hands?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, hand placement matters. Punch matters. I mean, it isn't even – it's initial and then reset. You know, what I've seen him clean up, okay, and I'll leave it here, is I've seen him clean up the ability to reset within the same play. So, you know,
So what does that mean, Chris?
So you get, say, Dietrich Weiss, you get a defensive end, bursts off to the ball, okay? He makes his initial move on you, okay? And maybe your hand placement isn't quite right, or maybe he's getting the better of you on that initial burst, on that initial move. Well, good tackles in this league will be able to use their hands, okay, and use their hips and their leg placement to reset themselves so that they can continue the block, okay, and go with it. So on an outside move that turns to an inside move against you, what he was doing earlier in camp was that outside move was happening. They'd give him that jab, and they'd come across his face and get by him. Well, he's found the ability to now reset himself, and it's being done with his footwork and his skill and his athleticism, more so than his length.
Okay.
Because look, this is not an offensive line. This is not an offensive tackle in the league that's got lengths, arm length, the size of Dietrich Weiss. So it don't matter who it is. They're never going to win that battle.
No.
You know?
No,
So
right.
those are the things he's figuring out, I guess. You know, and now that whether that's due yesterday you brought up Doug Marrone and Skarnecki, and maybe it's due to coaching, maybe it's due to McDaniel's protection and play calling. I don't know.
Yeah.
But after that joint practice, yeah, I feel like he's going to be okay. I feel like he could play. He's going to play tackle, and I think he'll be all right. I thought the offensive line played well.
Well, that's the other thing. You don't have a choice. He's not going anywhere. He's your left tackle. I mean, no matter how bad he plays, if he stays healthy, he's your left tackle. You don't have anybody else to play there. You know what's interesting, Chris? It seems like they've settled on an offensive line, but it seems like they've settled on two rookies starting on that side of the ball. What do you think of that?
I loved the Wilson pick when it happened.
You did. You told
when
me
they
that.
took that kid, because I had him
Mark,
circled.
You said, Mark, I love this kid. You said it to me.
When we were looking at the board during the draft, and I said, the kid Wilson out of Georgia, this is going to be a good interior lineman. Not just a center, a guard, a good interior lineman, meaning versatility there to play center.
Well,
and
you know
guard.
what'll happen next year, Chris? He'll kick over the center, and Campbell will kick over the left guard. And we'll bring in a left tackle.
And we still won't have a left tackle or a number one wide receiver. Huh?
No, this kid Wilson.
Sitting at 7 wins.
This kid Wilson looks like he's a player, Chris.
No, he is. He is. And so they got to solve the swing tackle issue. They have a serious depth problem. Now, maybe Lowe comes back and provides that.
They need
depth.
Lowe to come back because they do.
Because
have a
Marcus
problem.
Bryant, I couldn't think of the name yesterday. Marcus Bryant, okay,
now
has been working over there.
He's the kid, Chris, I like. Remember I said to you the 7th rounder out of Missouri? We both said,
yeah,
this kid's a player, you know. He should have never dropped to the 7th round.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have a great joint practice.
That's the kid from Missouri, right?
Devontae Jacobs, you know. Talking about Marcus Bryant. I don't know what the hell, where did they get him out of? But so that's their depth.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about him, you're talking about Jacobs sitting behind Morgan Moses. His fat ass needs to get back on the field too at some point.
They're just managing him, Chris. They know what they got in him. You know, it's 100 degrees outside. They're managing him. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It's about the 17-game schedule. I think, I think they're being smart with him. They're managing him, and they know what they got. He's such a veteran. What's he going to get out of a joint practice, really? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I say that fat ass with all the love in the world, because I'm on the other side of this camera, and if he was in front of me, he could grind me into a fine powder. You know?
Well, wait a minute now. The guy that you used to refer to in those terms was our starting left tackle.
Oh, and nobody was worse than him. Nobody was worse than him. You know? That slug. That stupid slob. You know? What the hell was his name? That stupid slob.
You don't even remember his
77.
name.
You know? 77. That stupid slob. Anyway, all right. Well, so we'll keep paying attention to the offense. We're going to talk next week. We're going to talk more receivers. Pop Douglas is having a great camp. Yeah. Okay, so pay attention. The two receivers Mark and I like, Booty and Douglas, are emerging as the top receivers right now for this team. along with Diggs. So
and you
those
said, Chris, before the season's over, they're going to be two. And they're going to be two of your top receivers.
they're probably going to be 2 and 3.
Diggs. Yeah, you said that. You said, Mark, they're going to be 2 and 3 before the season's over. You watch, and I think they're going to be right. In McDaniels' offense, you said that.
Your 3 starters are going to be Booty at the X, Diggs, and Douglas in the slot.
Imagine that.
Those are going to be your starters in week 1. So you heard it here. That's what's going to happen. But when we come back, we want to talk about the defense. But with this portion of Weekly Rewind was presented by Corso Law Group, corsolawgroup.com. When we come back, stick around. Defense. No flip.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
Back in with more Pats Nation. Okay, Mark, continuing on to what we've seen in camp. And
Trent Brown.
I
came to me, Trent Brown.
Friggin', I intentionally forgot his name. I put that out of my mind. Guys like him and Orlando Robinson and what the hell's the middle linebacker
Bentley.
Anyway, so now let's talk about the defense. They don't ever get the defense enough love. So
no, we don't.
Mark, does this front 7? No, I'm saying front 7. Let me back that up a bit, okay? Because the front 7 implies the linebackers. Does this front 4 have the ability to be top 5 to 10 in this league?
When it comes to the pass game and the pass rush, yes.
Explain.
I'm concerned. Well, first of all, you have Keon White, you got Bondmore, you got Milton Williams, you have Landry off the edge, you have Chason, I know is listed as an outside linebacker, but he's coming off the edge. He's going to play edge.
Mm-hmm.
On passing downs, Chris, I think this offense, this defense is going to be one of the top 10, right? My problem is a team's going to be in passing situations because I don't know who's going to stop the run. Are their linebackers going to be that quick in pursuing where they can fill holes?
They're not that kind of style guy. Spillane, Spillane's a smaller guy. I mean, these are guys, more speedy guys, but he's a maniac though, so he'll fill. I mean, he's going to fill, and he's going to make the lineman right.
Stop the run, Chris. That's my question. On that defensive line, who's stopping the run?
That's the big question because they are undersized. And this is a problem that we talked about in the offseason coming in. And it's relying a lot on Tonga, who they picked up from Arizona, who I like and I think has had a good camp. Look, he won on all 3 of his.
Chris, who's behind him?
Well, this is it. I mean, he won on all 3 of his one-on-one reps against Washington. He had 1 pressure and 11 on 11, but again, he's mostly as a nose tackle and run stopper. But what you like about what you saw out of him in the joint practice is the fact that he was able to make some plays in the passing game, because now that tells you, okay, I can mix and match. I can have a rotation. I don't have to be I don't have to be giving away the farm when they know Tonga's on the field. It's an easy checkout.
Yeah.
It's an easy checkout for the quarterback. Well, if I know that Tonga can make a few plays in the pass game, okay. What this tells you, though, is people out there, you're going to have to be patient and understand that the Patriots overpaid for Milton Williams. They overpaid. He's never going to live up to that contract.
He's not going to be a every down play. He's a pass rushing specialist.
And maybe he can. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he can give you something against the run. And if so, great.
Maybe.
But I'm not expecting it.
No, I'm not either. And Bondmore, Chris, actually got himself in better shape, lost a little bit of weight so he could become quicker. Yeah. I mean, can he give you anything in the run, or is that basically for him to rush the pass?
He's down to 305 now with his length. I mean, I have a serious concern about what I saw in the joint practice as it relates to Washington being able to get to the edge. Now, what's the thing that I talk about relentlessly?
At the edge.
And they didn't. That's the one thing they struggled with.
But Chris, is that on the linebackers? Is that on the defensive end? Who's that?
When you're running an even front, it's on the edges. It's on the ends. and the ends were getting overpowered.
But yet they can rush the passer, but they can't stop the run. That's what I'm saying, Chris. So are you even going to be in passing downs? I mean, you might be in 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2s all game long.
So they're going to have to see the scheme around it. You're going to have get your linebackers to be able to feel better.
Yeah.
And you know, it's an issue. It's for sure an issue that's going to have to be, you know, dealt with. Luckily it's a passing league mostly, you know, but teams know this. They're going to see it, and that's what they're going to go after right off. So I'm concerned about that, but in the sense of, because Mar said against the pass, yeah, I mean, you know, I think these guys are going to have big numbers this year. I do.
If Davis and Gonzalez can get on the field and be healthy.
Well, that's the other thing now. Talking about Greg Bedard talked about some position battles is what he was talking about.
Campbell, I would say, you know, he's had like a rough week, or at least in my opinion, he had a rough week. But talking to people around the team, they love him. They think that he's doing great, and they don't have any concerns about him. You know,
talking
not
about
having low out here
battles
has hurt things. They tried to do things in the offseason in terms of free agency. Didn't come to fruition. I'm sure they would have rather had that route. As far as competitions, you know, all 5 offensive line spots are taken care of. They have their starting 5 right now. You know, wide receiver down the depth chart, there's battles there for 5, 6, and 7 if they end up keeping 7, which I had on my latest 53. I would say safety, there's a lot of competition. You know, to me, it looks like Kyle Duggar could be on the outs. With Craig Woodson, the rookie, sort of stepping up. They have a bunch of guys at safety, and it'll be interesting to see if Duggar ultimately is on this team, whether he's traded or released. The cornerback spots, there's a lot of competition, but that's about it.
So, Mark, the second half of that is really what I want to focus on.
Yeah.
Because when you coming into the season, you and I talked about the little rat weasel Elliott Wolf and how bad of a GM he is. And lo and behold, these are the guys that I have on the bubble, Mark. And you tell me how Elliott Wolf plays here.
Right.
I got Bourne on the bubble. I got Strange on the bubble. I got Jennings on the bubble. I got Tavai on the bubble. And I got Duggar on the bubble. What do they have in common? All those guys.
Well, some of them he gave extensions to.
All of them.
Well, not Strange. Strange is still on the rookie deal, right?
Is he? Because I thought they extended him.
No, I think he's on a rookie deal.
All right. Well, it was then Stevenson's the other guy. That's the guy they extended too.
And Stevenson's going to make the team. Obviously, he's on the bubble, but
it's another guy they pissed money away on that keeps putting the ball on the ground. So
say that, but he fumbles again in the joint practice.
Right. So looking at the defensive side now, talking about Duggar in the safety spot. We talked about this, Mark. We talked about this was going to be a problem. For the type of defense they're going to play, you need coverage safeties. Yeah. Have you ever seen Duggar be able to cover anybody without without watching the ball go over his head like he's looking at fireworks?
Chris, all we were fed coming out of his draft when he was drafted, because remember, he was another guy that was taken sooner than we thought Belichick needed to take him, right?
Yes, absolutely. He came from a no-name school. He's,
But all we kept hearing was what an athlete this kid is. He can return kicks. He can return punts. He's an athlete, this kid. And, so you were like, oh, wow, maybe this kid can be a center fielder when McCourty goes. But he's not a center fielder, Chris. Where is that athleticism that they all bragged about him coming out of college? I have really, maybe his rookie year, he flashed it a little bit, but you haven't seen it since.
He's a box safety. He's a guy that can play down in the box.
But he wasn't supposed to be, Chris, coming out of college, right?
That's what he is.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's what he is. He's too big to play in that cover 2 spot or even in single high. And Peppers is too. And I don't. So when I look at this situation at the safety spot,
Pat, do you think Duggar is at more of a risk than Peppers?
Oh yeah. No. I mean, like, you mean of getting cut?
Of getting cut, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Peppers is on this team. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Duggar, now I think he's a potential for a trade. There's plenty of teams out there that need a guy like that. I mean, listen, you gave him a bad contract. We said it. There were so many safeties that were on the market when they signed him, and he's on the hook for $14 million. That's tough to trade.
That's a bad contract. Who's going to play center field?
It's looking like Woodson, the rookie.
So you're going to put a rookie back there. Okay. That doesn't make me feel too confident.
I know. And we thought coming in, the back end of this defense was going to be a real strength. But safety's an issue. Now, they got plenty of thumpers. They got plenty of guys that can come down. They got plenty of guys that could be that robber guy. And Sky had that be that Sky safety.
You know who I heard much of, Chris? Because he didn't play bad center field last year, you didn't think. It was Mapu.
I haven't heard anything.
No.
Nothing. Not a word. Not a single uttered word.
Is he struggling?
I'm not sure if he's out there. I haven't seen him one single thing on. Let us know out there. Send us in an email, corso.catone@gmail.com, because we don't know. Imagine, Joe, we're saying we don't know.
Is he not a fit for this defense? And they just
I think he is. I think he's got enough athleticism and speed that I think he can't be that other safety sitting back there. But I'm very interested in Woodson. I like what I'm seeing out of him. But again, there's a depth problem there too, to say nothing about the corner spot, Mark. Now, Davis made his way back on the field.
They lost Dial for the year.
For the season. Alex
Austin
Austin has played really, really well. I mean, he continues to, obviously he's repping it with the one because Gonzalez. Sure. Now, Gonzalez doesn't have the brace on the sleeve on anymore. So, I mean, I think he could play if he needed to, but I don't think they're going to do that. And I don't know what the hell Davis's story is. He got back on the field, but that's a guy that's missed on average 4 to 5 games every single season.
And you said that when they signed him. You said, Mark, he's never going to play a full season. What do you give him all that money for?
Right. So, I mean, it's going to be Austin as the number 3 guy, Marcus Jones, but you better not have any injuries there. I mean, Gonzalez better stay healthy. But because it's all going to be contingent upon that.
They just picked up somebody that was, I don't know, that was, I don't know if he was a depth piece. But Dial was having a real good camp, right?
He was. It's a shame,
It was a shame. And you had liked him coming out of the draft. You said, Mark, I think the kid's got potential. I think give him a couple of years of development. This kid's going to contribute. And you know what? I think he was ahead of schedule, Chris. He was going to contribute this year. He really was.
Yeah, I mean, with the right coaching, he was. And so you lose that there. So, I mean, they definitely have a depth problem.
The back end worries you then.
The back end's worrying me right now because.
Can Peppers play center field?
I mean, they're going to have to. They don't have a ton of Hawkins you're talking about. You got some other guys that you could try to plug in there. But I think Woodson's going to end up settling in at that spot. I do.
Mark, you got to start icing that leg. We're going to need you out there.
That's it, buddy.
If you need me out there, Joe, that's a major problem.
That's it. Strap up, suit up. Let's go. You're in.
What about the linebackers, Chris? How about you? Have we heard much of Jennings?
I think with Jennings, it's funny because I think Jennings is playing okay. I think he's playing all right. I don't see any big, huge problems with him. The issue is that's a spot where there's a lot of depth. So is he going to see time? I mean, that's going to be the issue, with him is he's not, and is he a fit for what they do? Because he's not really an edge guy.
No, he's not
like that. Like, you know what I mean? On that end spot, like a Landry. So is he really not a fit? So that could be a guy that ends up, but interior wise, I mean, look, Spillane, I don't think Tavai makes the team.
I was going to say to you, does Tavai get released or cut, Chris, or does Tavai go on the pup?
Maybe. I mean, they may put him on the pup list. They may do something.
I know they took him off. They made him active but he could very easily go back on the pup to start the season.
And you could see Mapu playing over there too, at linebacker. But again, you're dealing with how you going to deal with the run now.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of times where you see, a two backer set, even one at times. And one of those guys could be like kind of a box safety. So things to watch, things to look at. We'll be paying attention, but I do think they're going to be a good defense. But like a 4-win team, there's not a lot of depth. And so we got to be paying attention to that. But this portion of Weekly Rewind was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Field, Saturdays, noon Eastern, 8. Catone's comments next week. He's going to be talking about that leg next week and how he heard it. So make sure you tune in for that. But when we come back, going to talk Pat's preview and so much more. Stick around.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
Again, focused on today, and they'll get a lot of reps today, different situations, and again, I would say most everybody that's healthy should expect to play in the game. How long they'll play, I don't know, but we have to prepare to play in football games and prepare to win football games. So that's the mentality that we're going to take.
So that was Mike Vrabel talking about the preseason games. Okay,
so
now
he makes it sound like they're going to give Maye at least a couple of, maybe a possession or two, maybe, right?
Now we're recording on Thursday, so the game hasn't happened yet. By the time you're seeing this, it will have happened. But generally, I want to talk about why I'm playing that. Okay, should what's your feeling on this? Should they be playing?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're charging season ticket holders part of their package. So now they include that as the number of games you're getting, right? So you're going to pay for that to be part of the season ticket package. So you should, and I get the joint practice.
I want my money back, Mark. I've been paying on season tickets for 32 years. I'm in these crap preseason games, televised against the Washington. Yes, right?
Yeah. So the joint practices, I know it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I know it's 11 o'clock in the morning, but why can't you tape it and air it, right? Even if it's not live, you want to do tape delay, whatever, because that's where the ones are playing, Chris. Maybe they get 2 snaps Friday night, maybe 2 possessions, maybe, and they'll pull Maye and those guys. So the fact that they're charging season ticket holders for those tickets, it's a farce. They need to figure something out because it's getting worse and worse. These guys are playing less and less in preseason games because they're getting all their work done in these joint practices, Chris.
Yeah. And listen, I can't blame the football minds. I can't blame Vrabel and these guys for saying, I'm not putting these guys out in harm's way for this crap. Look, the bottom line is, okay, look at it this way. Morgan Moses, right? This has been basically a country club training camp for him. Okay. He comes in for a couple of plays. He goes and sits out. Yeah, okay. Because they know that Marcus Bryant backing him up or Jacobs or maybe Lowe. I mean, they got a problem if that guy goes down, right?
Yeah.
This guy's not going to see the field. So you're not going to have your starting right tackle out there. Chances are Owinu, guy like that, he's probably not going to see the field.
Even a guy like Campbell, how long you want to keep him out there? You can't take a chance somebody rolls up on him. You don't have any other left tackle.
There's nobody else. Or how about Bradbury? He's dealing with injuries.
He's not.
You're going to stick him out there at center? Okay. No, so now it's so when you go into these preseason games.
Hey, Chris, what we're talking about right now, these guys even on the offensive line that aren't going to play because you're going to protect them. Well, then, if that's the case, you're not putting Maye out there with a makeshift offensive line either.
That's the point I'm making. So if you're not going to put these guys out there, now you're going to put your starting quarterback out there with Ben Brown playing center? Get the hell out of here. No, you're going to get his ass kicked. Just so you can – look, in joint practices, okay, you got control. You can control your quarterback getting hit. You're not going to get touched. You know that, okay? You can control the flow of the offense. You can control the situations, all of that. And you could try to simulate the same kind of energy and the same kind of game speed. Now, but what you forget is, Maye's out there for, say, 30 reps. Okay? That's half a game. Usually you get about 65 offensive plays. Joint practices.
Yeah. Yep.
That's like half. That's like playing a half.
Yeah.
Under control. Now, is it perfect game situations? No. Okay, it's not. I get that. But the days of you're healthy, you play. It's a football. Football players play football. Football. I mean that shit's gone, Mark. I mean you just can't operate that way anymore. And it pisses you off that the ownership, these goddamn greedy bastard owners. And you talked about this yesterday on Corso and Catone and Catone's comments. It was a good one. Go back and listen to it if you didn't hear it already. about ESPN taking over the rights for something for the NFL Network. And, the red zone and these owners, put the same amount of money for the tickets I've been paying for these preseason tickets are the same as the regular season. They try to sell it like it's a real game and it's not, and all that stuff. It's disgusting. They're pigs. Pigs, Mike.
Oh, listen, Joe will be there Friday night because he's gonna see Brady's statue, right?
There you go. That's right.
Maybe the statue could get on the field and throw a few passes.
I was going to ask you guys this earlier. I'm kind of hoping that I know they're going to ask Drake Maye, did you talk to him? And I hope he does. I hope he gets a chance to get a little bit of, some pointers.
Well, Brady will try to make it a point to, I mean, he may not do it publicly. He'll make it a point to see Josh, I'm sure, right?
It won't be publicly because, he's got the Fox gig. He's part owner of the Raiders.
But he'll make sure he gets to see, he'll see Josh and those, and even Vrabel. He played with Vrabel, right? So, he'll make it a point to see those guys, but it won't be public. They'll do it behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the kind of stuff like Kraft has that to fall back on for this one game because they only have one preseason game.
And it's going to be probably sold out, Chris, because they're all coming to see Brady's statue.
Because they got that.
And now Belichick's statue is, where did they got that one? Is that in the bowling alley? Is that in the bowling alley up the street? Where's Belichick?
That's at that America's Inn over there.
Where is it?
That place. Room 204. Full of smoke and soot and shit. But what do the other teams do? What do you think the Cleveland Browns are doing? What's the Jacksonville Jaguars doing for there? What's their hype? What's their hype tape? Come out and watch us in the heat and humidity.
There is none. Right?
Right? It's the sky. You know what? They got to figure out a way. Look, they stream everything else. Give me the ability to watch that joint practice.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
You're right. No, you're right. They should. They really should.
I'll pay for that.
Yeah.
But I want to pay 50 cents for those tickets that you can't give away on a Friday night over there. Have fun, Joe.
No, but Joe, the weather's supposed to be good.
But it looks good on you.
No, the weather's supposed to be good, Joe. You people have a lot of issues. Go enjoy yourself. Have a beverage, ice water or something.
Yeah,
I'm not promoting anything else. Just an ice water.
Yeah. That'll work. That'll work. But no, I mean, your point was made yesterday about this and then all the streaming stuff and the way to get it.
Oh, that's pissing me off. They're taking over the NFL Network. And you know why that's pissing me off.
Yeah, I know it is. He's just mad.
Shut up. Would you shut up?
He's mad because of the fantasy football crew is changing up. That's what he's pissed off about. Please. I wore a black suit for 2 weeks when Wake Up. What was it called? Wake Up ESPN or whatever that show is. She was
Good Morning Football with Kay Adams.
Football.
Do you know? A lot of issues.
But yeah, listen, it's unwatchable football. You get into a fourth quarter of a preseason game. Oh,
it's awful.
There's really, really, you know why it's so bad to watch? Because you expect so much from it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are worse things to watch, like worse sports to watch. But
listen,
it's bad.
Yeah. By the way, just going to throw it out there.
We can end
mid-season. They're in mid-season form, by the way. The Bengals. First preseason game. Burrow's got like over 100 yards receiving in like 3 possessions.
Why? One of the receivers going to jail? What's going on? They're mid-season form.
I don't know. Chase had like 6 catches, 80 yards, touchdown. Like, I think they're obsessed with they're not getting off to a slow start again this year. This might be the year that they challenge for the Super Bowl, Chris, on the AFC side.
And they still won't beat freaking Kansas City, those jackass fools, Like
Cincinnati can beat them. Buffalo can't. Cincinnati can beat them.
Well, we'll leave it there and we'll pick it up. And by the way, hey, stick around because in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have our picks before the season begins. You're not going to want to miss that either. But the Pats Nation was presented by Corso and Catone Saturdays, noon Eastern. We're going to have Yankees, Red Sox, Catone's comments, Pats talk, and so much more. Come back next weekend, 8 a.m. Eastern. Hey, more breakdown of that Commanders game, that preseason game, the unwatchable thing that Joe's going to be at. I'm sure he'll have some good fun notes and things, and anything you bring to the table, we will be ready. We are the Pats Nation. Enjoy your Sunday.